G'day, Teeth here from PickinLessons.com. Have you ever watched a guitarist and wondered what they were doing when they were moving around the neck, how they know what they were doing, where they were, and what they were trying to do in their playing? If so, this lesson's for you. We're going to learn the neck through the use of triads. So a triad is a 3-note chord. For example, the D chord that you will already know is a triad. If we just play the 1, 2, 3 fingers holding the notes down, that's a 3-note chord, a triad. That's a major chord. A triad is a chord that we can move around in this way. So this chord can move up 2 frets, becomes an E. We can move that again up 1 more fret, becomes an F. We're going to learn how to do that. We're going to work in the key of D. There are 3 types of major triads we can play that we find on these 3 strings, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to discover those in this lesson. PickinLessons.com, you want to get yourself a copy of the chart that we'll be working through. We're going to start out here though with this particular triad that we're working with that we do find on a D position. We're going to talk about how that works, how to find a new position for that chord, and how to apply it up the neck. When we start to look at the neck in this way through chords, it completely changes the way you view what you're playing. So it's going to be really interesting. So that example that I played at the beginning of this video, that was really focusing on notes from within the triads. Now you can do that in your playing, mix that with scales, and all of a sudden you're going to be a really strong lead player, and you're going to know where you are around the neck. Not just for lead too, we can use it for backup ideas, we can use it for secondary guitar parts, we can use it to create harmony. So many great reasons to understand this. Plus, you're gonna know the neck a whole lot better than before we started this lesson. All right, so let's jump into this, and we're gonna have a look at this first triad that you already know, this D shape, making it a little bit easier. The other 2 will be a little bit less familiar, but we'll get into those later on. This D shape that we're gonna look at here, this triad here, is a major chord. As we know, D major. Just the 3 notes we're holding with our 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers, that's the triad. So ignore your open string for the moment and you've got the 3 notes there. Now, within this chord, identifying where is the root note is really important. Step 1, where is the root note? Out of the 3 notes, it's your 3rd finger. That is the D. So the D note is our root note or naming note of the chord. So there's our D major chord, that's the D note, the root note. Now, what that means is if I start to move this chord around and identify that D, D sharp, E on string 2, there's an E, fret 5. That's an E chord. If I keep moving my way along, E, F, F sharp, G. There's a G in this position here, finger 3, fret 8. That's our next stop. So we have our D chord, moving up, so our 3rd finger's at the G position. Now, we've got 1 more chord we're going to look at for this exercise. We're going to move from G into A, fret 10, so G, G sharp, A. Same chord shape, now I'm playing an A chord. So, realistically, D, G, and A can be played like this, D, G, and A. There are lots of songs that have used these chords rhythmically in their structure, and that's really cool for the guitar. We're just exploring at the moment where we find them. So one chord shape, the triad shape, we can move around. Root note, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. We're going to choose the D, G, and A specifically for this exercise because that puts us in the key of D. Key of D, the 1st, 4th, and 5th chords in the key, the 1, 4, 5, D, G, and A. So D, G, A. The first thing that I really want you to do when you're thinking about these triads is memorize those 3 positions. Memorize where they are. Memorize that when we're playing A up the neck here, that 3rd finger is our reference. The A note there on that 3rd finger is the root note of that triad shape. So D position, G position, and A position. 3 triads, D, G, and A. Memorize those for a start. In this next lesson, as we follow on at PickinLessons.com, we're going to break down the other triads so that we can do this. D, G, A in 3 cycles up the neck. You'll learn all about what those triads mean, how we break them down, where the root notes are, how we can apply them. The example solo at the beginning of this lesson used all those triads up and down the neck in a melodic way, in a lead guitar melodic fashion. You can use them for rhythm, you can use them for lead, you can use them for a whole lot of stuff. As you keep working through this, you're gonna look at the neck in a completely different way. That's really important. So PickinLessons.com, we're going to carry on with this lesson. We've got 2 more sets of triads to look at. We've got an example solo, we've got some exercises. We're learning the neck through the use of triads. You'll be able to put them in your playing after you spend some time on them for sure. So PickinLessons.com, I'll see you there.